Welcome to episode 6 of the Landscaping Podcast. My name's Joel Barnett, and today we're talking to Ben Hayman of the Garden Keeper. That's a garden maintenance company in the southern Highlands of New South Wales. And Ben will talk to us about how he got into the industry. Initially, he started as a mechanic and then moved into horticulture through a friend of his, and then started his maintenance business with just 2 folks for the first 7 years, and then he's grown to have about 4 people on his team now just working in high-end maintenance projects. And it was also interesting hearing how he initially had about 30 projects on it, 30 clients on it one time, and now he only has, I think it was 6. So just focusing on high-end maintenance projects. He also mentions a heartbreaking story about COVID, meaning he missed out on heading over to the Great Dexter Symposium. So hopefully it gets over there eventually, but hopefully you'll enjoy episode 6 with Ben Hayman. Welcome to the Landscaping Podcast. I'm your host Joel Barnett, and today we're in Burrawang in the Southern Highlands, and we're joined by Ben Hayman, who's a garden designer and horticulturalist at the Garden Keeper. Ben, thanks for joining us today.
No worries, mate.
It's a beautiful day out here. We're also joined by some crows, so I'm sure that
mate, you'll hear them all day.
But yes, it's a beautiful morning out here. So how did you get to work in the horticulture industry to end up out here? Where did it all start for you?
Yeah, mate, it started a bit different for me. I was like just a kid in school, no idea what he wanted to do. Just got to year 10 where you sort of make the decision whether you go back to do year 11 and 12 or go and do an apprenticeship. Generally, that's what all my mates did. And I was sort of, didn't know. So I went back to school, and about halfway through year 11, a mechanics apprenticeship popped up, which is only 3 kilometres from my house. So I was like, I'll go and apply for that, just because I honestly had no idea. And anyway, got the apprenticeship. Stayed there finished my trade as a mechanic, stayed there for 5.5, 6 years, and just sort of knew it wasn't for me. Kind of wanted to be outside, and I had sort of extra 5 years of maturity up my sleeve by then, so I sort of knew that about some other careers that were out there, because when you're at school, you just sort of think there's the electrician, plumber, like all the standard stuff. So then one of my mates was doing the first year of Hort Certificate 1 in landscape, and I thought, I might try that. So my mechanic boss was nice enough to let me study horticulture whilst being a mechanic. So I did that until I found work as a horticulturalist with the garden company, and stayed with them until I finished my trade.
So you did another apprenticeship with them?
Yeah. I wasn't an apprenticeship, so I put myself through, and then but I subcontracted to them, but put myself through TAFE. So I worked 4 days a week with them, and then slowly sort of got my own work on the side, and that sort of slowly took over. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And so how old were you when you started?
I was 17 when I started my mechanics apprenticeship, and I was there for 5 years. Yeah, so early 20s up to I'm 35 now. So yeah.
And did you start your own business pretty soon after working with that crew?
I sort of. I was doing like all rubbish jobs, like push mowing, sort of out the front of shops and cutting hedges and stuff like that. So it was I did start my own business. Like I just had an ABN and was subcontracting to them. So it was it was a slow old road to get to the nice gardens like this. But I think I got a little bit of OCD when it comes to work. So I guess that shows in my work, and that is why I can now sort of keep on the good jobs. So
it's a good industry to have that in.
Yeah, mate.
Especially that top end that you're wanting to work in.
Yeah, I mean, all the clients I work for now, they're all very successful people, and they know what they want. So you got to be, I guess. So.
Yeah, they'd have to have a lot of faith in you and faith in your staff to look after their property.
Yeah, mate, and that's another thing. Like, because I work for like private people, there's a lot of trust. Like you're in their personal home. So, and a lot of the time they've got other properties that they go to. So you're there by yourself, like left. So they just have to trust. So that's another thing I pride myself and my team on. We're all like very trustworthy people, and that our clients all know that now. We've got long-term relationships with all of them. So.
And so how did you said it was a long road to get to that point. So did you have how soon after starting did you get an employee on?
Pretty soon, actually. When I left that initial crew that I did my 4 years with, they were really good, and they taught me a lot of staff, but they didn't pay very well. So, another guy that worked with them come on my team. So I approached him and said, I'll give you X amount, which is quite a bit more than what he was getting. So he come and work for me. So there was just two of us for probably 7 years. And then as work picked up, I got another and then another and another. So
Where are you at now?
I got 4 plus myself. So I got a good little mix actually. I got a new guy that just started he's totally inexperienced but keen to learn. I got 2 guys that used to be chefs. So mate, I don't know if you know much about the chef world, but they get hammered their whole career. So they're hard workers, mate. They just show up and rip in. Then I've got Kim, she studied at the Botanic Gardens in Sydney, so she's really switched on. She's really knows the stuff. So it's a nice little team actually.
So do you put on apprentices or are they?
I haven't yet, no, but I'm toying with the idea. I have a young guy in October coming to do work experience. So and he seems really, really nice. I know his dad actually. So if he's keen, I think I probably will go down that road. So
cool.
Yeah,
because that'll help too, getting younger people in and then learn the trade.
Yeah, mate, it's an unreal trade. That's why I met him the other day, and I just went through my sort of journey to here and told him that you might not get it right straight away, but he seemed really keen. So yeah, hopefully that works out. So.
And I saw on your Instagram that it says that you're basically in the Southern Highlands. Is all your work?
Yeah, it is. I don't really venture. I've gone up to Sydney to do bits and pieces for clients' gardens up there, but I'm very lucky actually. The furthest I sort of have to drive is 20 minutes, which is into Bowral. So
nice.
So I've got 6 clients. So and they're all relatively big gardens. So
you've got 6 to keep you busy.
Yeah. So mate, very busy.
So did you, when you started off earlier, or did you have like 20 or 30 that you had to look after?
Yeah, I did, mate. I did, and they're all just rubbish jobs. And I just, I thought I was making good money, but I was working so hard, working 6 and 7 days a week, just big hours, big days, and thinking, oh yeah, this isn't too bad. But then you have kids, and then you realise that that's just not maintainable either. But I mean, I reckon 30 would be on the money, about 30 clients, but never again.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? So you got more jobs when you had less staff.
Yeah.
More staff and less job.
Yeah. Just bigger, mate. And like when I first started, like my passion in horticulture has grown as well. So I'm just all about plants now. Like back then, I was just all about money. Like just a young guy trying to get a mortgage and that. So I was just doing whatever I needed to do to get money. But I'm lucky enough now. I can just focus on what I want to do. And these bigger places all have like enormous gardens. So yeah, I feel very fortunate actually to get where I am. So
yeah, and just I'm useless with the mechanical side of things.
Yeah,
like I don't have a mini digger because I don't have to maintain it. I've got no idea what I'm doing. So have you found that your previous apprenticeship has helped with maintaining your machines?
It has. So I can service and do all my own mowers and everything. But this sounds ridiculous, but I still pay for it to get done just because my time. Like I've got 3 little kids and running the business that I run. I'm like, I don't have any spare time, so it's easier for me to just ship it off. But yeah, when I did fix a lot of my stuff early on in the piece, but yeah, I just sort of, it's more a hassle than anything now.
Yeah, well, it doesn't sound weird because you've got to maximise where you time spent.
Yeah, I mean, little bits and pieces I can fix, but I think most people in this industry can fix like little sort of bits and pieces on the hedges and stuff. But yeah, not as far as the big services and stuff, I don't.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So have you had any like learning curves when operating your own business with staff or anything like that?
Yeah, massive learning curves. Like managing people is a lot more difficult than I thought. Like I'm a pretty laid back guy, and all my staff are friends as well as staff. So I was kind of like, that's a tricky balance to sort of.
Were they before they started, or?
Sort of. Like I knew them, and we saw each other at events and stuff, but we didn't hang out every weekend or anything. But still, we're all the same age. We're all sort of 35, 36, except Kim's, I think she's 40, but so we're all the same age. So it's a bit of a odd dynamic, sort of telling your peers what to do. But I mean, they're all legends and they accept and understand that. But so there's that element of it. Then there's just time management's a huge thing. So like where to be on what day, and like we try and I have a fortnightly schedule. So each day we know where we're at. But then you get weather like last week where it rains all week, and you've got to try and catch up and try not to let anyone down.
Yeah.
You know, it's so that
robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah, that's right. So you got to. It's all part of it, and clients, they do understand. And like I said, we have long-term relationships with all of the clients. They're like, some of them are like family, so they totally understand. So yeah.
And going back to on your Instagram profile, we see garden designer. Do you do designs separate to the projects you look after, or do you just add bits and pieces?
Yeah, just all within mostly. Like so, like for example, another garden we did last spring was we just cleared out an entire garden bed and just designed it myself. So I went with the clients and we went through a whole list of plants that work in the Southern Highlands because they've just moved back from Asia. So he was the CEO of Allianz over there. So they've sort of retired back into Australia now, and they didn't know what worked in a cool climate garden because there are other places in Sydney. And yeah, then they chose sort of what plants they liked out of that list, and then we designed like a garden bed there. So I do consulting for other people as well, but I don't, design, I wouldn't say I'm a designer as such, but I do design in my jobs, so.
And do you do that outside the Southern Highlands as well, or you mainly stick to?
Yeah, just stick to the Southern Highlands, I haven't really ventured out. So, and to be honest, I would need to do a lot more study to go and design sort of in warmer climates because, all my attention's cool climate stuff, so, yeah.
It is a nice place to be, so I don't know why you'd want to leave it.
Mate, I don't think I'll ever leave. Like I was saying before, I think I'm here to stay. So.
When you said earlier about how hard you're working early and you had your family, so you kind of realised you want to stay, I see them a bit more often.
Yeah.
What sort of changes did you make to be able to do that?
Oh, mate, it took ages. Because, my partner is a photographer as well, and she does family photography, so she needs weekends to do her work. So and I was working weekends as well. So I'm a bit of a yes man as well. So like I say yes when I shouldn't. So that gets me into trouble. So I put on another full-time guy recently. So that's helped take the load off a lot. But just back to that thing, time management, like trying to nut out where we should be and where we shouldn't be, and more staff hours, from just ask for a few more hours off a couple of the guys and Kim, and they come to the party, and so it's pretty much dependent on my staff really. Like if one of them pull the pin or can't do something, then I have to go back and fill that slot. But that's all I've really done is get the staff to help me out really. So
Do you do any weekend work?
Do I?
Or them? Either one.
Yeah, they do when they're trying to make it up. Like, if it's rained or something, they want to make up hours. Like we're super lenient with hours too. So if they want to work back in the day or start earlier, they can do that as well. So they Saturdays are always open because there's always something to do. So yeah.
And have you got a particular style of garden you like, or you kind of based around work with?
English, sort of the English style. You know, your stereotypical perennial gardens, like lots of flowers, lots of contrast. Like, English is definitely my preferred style.
Have you been over to England to see any gardens there?
I've been over there when I was younger, when I didn't appreciate gardens as much as I do now. But I was actually supposed to go to Great Dexter and do the Symposium over there, and then COVID hit. So I had flights booked. I had to wait 2 years to get into this course. It's a week course over there. So you go and stay at Dexter House and you work with Fergus Garrett, and it's an incredible opportunity. And one of my clients actually got me onto it. So I didn't even know about it. And then I had a 3-week tour of all these different gardens that I was supposed to go to. It was like booked, ready to go. I was going by myself, so I've been looking forward to it for 2 years, and then no good. So my place is still held by Dexter, but who knows when I'm going back. Mate, it was gutting, mate. I was shattered.
What month were you booked to go?
July.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so like right when it's cracking over there.
Did COVID affect your business
as well?
No, it didn't. Not at all. Not in the slightest. Which is, I was very lucky because I know a lot of people that it did affect. But we, we're very lucky. Like I said, I've only got 6 clients, and they're all like, I don't know, comfortable, very comfortable. So like they didn't have to cut us back. And I know a lot of people in my industry, and the gardeners that do the 30 jobs or whatever, and they got lots of their jobs cut. So yeah, we're very fortunate.
That is lucky. Now, I saw on your Instagram as well, and you mentioned before you like the flowers of the English garden. Is there any particular, have you got a favourite plant or flower that you?
Oh, that's tricky. Oh mate, like I love roses. I used to hate roses, which is crazy, but now I love roses. Astrantias probably. I really love those little flowers. That mate, there's a list. Do you want me to list plants I like? Like I love Nordia, Persicaria. I'm loving all these. Each year I find I love new things. Penstemon, I know they're a standard, but I love them. What else do we love? I love bulbs. Like it's cool climate. Bulbs are unreal down here. Like all the narcissus and the tulips and what else? There's everything. Dahlias.
Yeah.
Dahlias I love dahlias.
Yep.
They're one of my all-time favourites. So mate, anything cool climate, anything you see in English gardens, iris, anthruscus, the list goes on. Yeah.
Have you got any favourite designers you like to follow on Instagram who do that kind of style?
Yeah, I like Michael McCoy. I think he's unreal. I follow, like, as far as designers, I follow gardeners more so than designers. So like Polly Wilkinson over in the UK, I really like her. She seems, everything she does I seem to like. But just gardeners, like I know Monty Don is just like a celebrity gardener kind of thing, but he's unreal. I just really like his passion. Fergus Garrett, I was actually lucky enough, he came out to Australia, when was it? Maybe 12 months ago or something. And yeah, he did this private little course thing, and we got to sit down and listen to him talk, and he was just super passionate. So he's, it's weird, you get sort of caught up in when you talk, like when you listen to people that are passionate, they got something about them that.
Yeah, you get inspired after it.
Yeah, they're like, I don't know, there's only a few people that can do it, and he's definitely one of them. So I mean, you got all your like Alan Titmarsh, and Miles Baldwin's actually quite good as well. He's got a couple of gardens in around here that I like his style as well. He's got a couple of different styles, but the ones around here I really like. Yeah. And
I also saw your horticultures with Hoselink. How did that come about?
Yeah, that's Instagram. So that all happened through Instagram. They when they brought out their liquid fertilizers, they got in contact with me just as a collaborative thing, just to try and get their product out there. And I was like, yeah, send it through and we'll see what happens. And it actually is good product. Like, I'm not just saying that because I work with them now. So I did a post way back when, and then they sent some tools, and I tried their tools out and did a post, and then they were looking at going down this new road of how-to videos, and they just broached me about it and said, would you be interested in giving it a go? And I was like, yeah, I've never done anything like that before, but we'll have a go. And they sent a crew down. I think they sent like 8 people down. It was so intimidating.
We've only got just me for this.
Yeah.
Low budget.
Oh mate, so this was their first one that they'd done, and I'd never done anything like that before. It was freezing cold. It was June last year, and they'd only brought me a t-shirt. It was like a size XXX, extra small. Like, it was so tight. And then I was freezing, hadn't eaten because I was so nervous. And then I was shocking, absolutely shocking. Couldn't remember any lines, stumbled over everything. There was 8 people. You can imagine what that's like with all the screens and cameras. And anyway, I thought when they left that day, like they were lovely, but I thought, yeah, well, that's the end of that. And then, they wanted to continue, and so they just kept coming down, and we're definitely getting better at it. But that's how that all sort of happened. And now they're really happy with the how-to sort of angle they're going at. So yeah, we're just going to keep making them.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah.
And you like doing that?
I do now. Yeah, I don't get so worked up and nervous about it now, but I mean, they're an awesome team as well. Like they're really, really nice people. So, and they only send 3 down each time now. So,
Nice intimidating.
yeah. And because they're coming down every other month, or soon it'll be every month. Like they're just like friends now. So they yeah. And I mean, we're not reinventing the wheel. We're just doing this basic how-to garden videos. You know, like people don't go to Hoselink for their horticultural degrees, but yeah,
I reckon that's something that'll be really popular. I haven't seen what the numbers are like, but there's plenty of people on Instagram who love learning little bits and pieces like that.
Yeah, that's Instagram's unreal for that. Like that's the garden community on Instagram's unreal. I reckon everyone's so happy to help everyone. Everyone's like, if you've got a gardening page, you're generally pretty passionate about it. So yeah, I think it's a great little sort of avenue.
Yeah,
people have still got to learn that Hoselink do more than hoses. Like that's another.
Yeah, I actually didn't know that, to be honest.
Yeah, so that's just a thing they have to work on. I think they're like Australia's #1 gardening brand.
They are.
So they got a lot more than hoses, but this isn't an ad. But yeah, that's a challenge they've got, and this is just another way of trying to fix that. So,
do you have any plans on taking on any more gardens? Like, what's the plan for the company?
Right now, I don't. I mean, I've got 4-year-old twins and a 1.5-year-old. So I know you've got 3 kids, so it's how hectic that is.
Yeah.
So when they get a bit older, maybe I might change something. But at the moment, I'm pretty happy with how. I think I'm at a manageable sort of stage now, and the stress I'm sure you've been down that road. The stress of being behind all the time it's not worth it. Like the little bit of extra money you make is just not worth the stress. So
I believe that road is the Nullarbor, and I'm on it.
yeah, right.
So I know in landscape construction companies, there's like it's a mythical number of if you've got 5 or less staff, you can be fine. And if you've got 20 or more, you can be fine. But the in between, it's like a black spot. Is it similar for maintenance?
I have heard that from a number of people, but I've never been more than what I am now. So I've never experienced that. But I imagine that would be true. I could see that being true. I think what I've got now is perfect for what I do. I think it's a perfect sort of number that people managing, like I said before, I can't imagine trying to do that for 20 people. Like I just imagine the quality control is obviously huge. So that's because we work for these pristine gardens, the quality control is almost the most important thing. So it's letting that slip. You'd have to let it slip a little bit with that many people.
Yeah, and that wouldn't be easy for you with your OCD.
Yeah,
or non-OCD.
No, I wouldn't have many friends, I don't think.
Yeah, and it's the same. Like if you're getting jobs because of the high end work you're doing, the faith the clients are putting in you, then you don't want to get too big to.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Like the personal aspect is like it's real. Like Trish, like who you just met before, my kids. We bought her flowers on Mother's Day and stuff. Like it's actually like we are like a family kind of thing. I mean, I still put in my invoice. Like I know it's still a business, but yeah, we catch up. Like we talk on the phone all the time, like just like friends, about what's going on. And so that you'd have to lose that, and you can't be personal with too many more clients. Like so. Yeah, I think it's a nice little sort of arrangement.
And you also on every job every week as well, doing the.
Yeah, I am. Yeah. So I do have. There are days where I have clients. Workers at other jobs, but I'm each day of the week I'm at a different garden. So yeah, I get to oversee it. So you need to see the garden with your own eyes. So yeah.
Again, that's something else you wouldn't be able to do if you get too big.
Yeah.
You can't be everywhere.
That's right. And then you just and also I wouldn't be like if I'd be driving around looking at all these jobs. I actually love gardening, so like I want to do the work as well. Like I don't want to just be a people manager. So yeah.
And like you said earlier, now you're more about gardening rather than just making money.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously, the more people you have work for you, you make money. So I'm still like in a good position. It's just everything has geared to this point now. I've like done for a reason. So I'm happy with how it's all sort of cruising along now. So
yep. So and you said you no plans to grow, but is there anything coming up for the garden keeper other than more Hoselink? video?
Yeah, not really, mate. We're just same old. So I just took on, maybe 6 months ago, took on another client. So getting that garden back into shape, that's probably going to be the main focus this winter. Just it's the previous gardener sort of, he was an older guy and he just sort of, you know, let it go. Yeah, a little bit. So we'll do that. And then there's another, I work at a garden called Pepper Tree Creek, which is 15 minutes away, and it's got huge perennial beds, and we're thinking about clearing out them completely and starting again. So I'm actually having a meeting next week about that. So we'll see if that could be a huge project for winter too. But other than that, mate, like you said, the Hoselink thing, we're going to film a little more come next financial year. But yeah, just keep trekking along how we are.
Yeah. And what size of most of all the properties you work on in terms of area?
The garden area, probably big few acres each one. One of the horse studs I work at it'd be 15 acres of garden. It's like a big deal. This one here has 3 adjoining properties, so each one has a garden, but the care level for each of them changes. So where the main client lives, we're there most of the time. And then I do have 2 residential gardens in Bowral for do you know Jenny Rose Innes? Yeah, she's got an incredible garden. She had an incredible garden in town. She just sold it recently, but yeah, so it's a pretty full-on perennial garden in town too. So even though it's a residential block, it takes like a lot of our time.
So that's sort of similar standard size block, is it?
Okay. Yeah. I think it's only 800 square meters or something, but it's unreal. Like it's packed full of perennials. Like it takes a lot of work. So yeah, I love the style of that garden too. There's dahlias everywhere. There's it's just packed full of everything. Roses, salvias, buxus.
Yeah, it sounds beautiful. Well, thank you very much for your time, Ben. It sounds like
Pleasure.
It's a great project to keep looking after.
Yeah, mate, I'll keep checking on.
Yeah, really appreciate your time.
No, thanks for coming.